We are going to study the low back pain and leg pain, the differential diagnosis, history, physical examination and investigations. The differential diagnosis could be primary or secondary causes of the back pain. The primary causes are the mechanical, that could be disc or facet origin, degenerative disease, lumbar stenosis, disc herniation or prolapse, cauda syndrome, neurogenic or vascular claudication, spondylolysis and spondylolisthesis, and the cyst and tumor. The secondary causes could be inflammatory or rheumatologic, that include ankylosing spondylitis, for example, the infectious, for example, osteomyelitis, septic arthritis, and TB, neoplastic, for example, metastatic and multiple myeloma, metabolic diseases, for example, osteoporosis, osteomalacia, or Paget's disease. The important point to be asked in history are whether the pain is back dominant or leg dominant, constant or intermittent, and exacerbated by flexion or extension. If the pain is back dominant, it is usually the disc or facet origin, while the leg dominant pain is due to root compression, for example, sciatica or neurogenic claudication. The constant pain is due to mechanical or inflammatory diseases or the lateral disc herniation, while intermittent pain is facet joint origin, spinal stenosis, or central disc herniation. The pain that is exacerbated by flexion, that is forward bending, is the disc origin or root compression, while the one exacerbated by extension is origin or spinal stenosis. Position-related pain is due to neurogenic claudication, while the pain that is relieved by rest is vascular claudication. The night pain and morning stiffness are present in ankylosing spondylitis. Now we'll discuss the specific points for each different kind of pain. In mechanical back pain, there is the morning stiffness and pain aggravated by activity. It is always back dominant, but if it is disc origin, it is more on flexion, while if it is facet origin, it is more on extension. The degenerative pain is age-related and worse with bending and loading. The lumbar stenosis and disc herniation pain is always leg dominant. The difference is that lumbar stenosis is worse with extension, walking and standing, while the disc herniation or prolapse pain is worse with flexion and Valsalva maneuver. The cauda equina pain syndrome presents with the motor, sensory, and autonomic symptoms, that is the motor weakness or saddle anesthesia and urinary retention. Neurogenic claudication is aggravated with standing or exercise and relieved by change in position. Usually the position is flexion or sitting or lying down that relieves the pain. In vascular claudication, pain is aggravated with walking set distance, and it is relieved by rest in seconds. Spondylolysis pain is activity-related back pain, that is pain with unilateral extension found in gymnasts, weightlifters, backpackers, loggers, laborers. And spondylolisthesis pain is the low back pain radiating to buttocks. The ankylosing spondylitis pain presents with night pain and morning stiffness. There would be decreased range of motion and postural changes. Also, there would be eye, renal, and GI symptoms, that is systemic symptoms due to rheumatologic problem. In infectious condition, there would be fever and constitutional symptoms, while in neoplastic or metastatic diseases, there would be extra-articular manifestations as well, for example, renal disease. In physical examination, important points to be noticed are the lower motor neuron signs, SLR, and radiculopathy. We'll discuss these later on. Here we are going to discuss what could be the findings in each different kind of pain. In mechanical pain and the degenerative disease of the bone, there should be no radicular signs and symptoms. In lumbar stenosis, SLR positive, and in disc herniation, SLR and Valsalva both are positive. In cauda equina syndrome, there would be lower motor neuron signs with sensory loss and saddle anesthesia. In neurogenic claudication pain is dermatoval distribution, while vascular claudication pain is sclerotomal distribution. In spondylolysis, the pain is with unilateral extension, while in spondylolisthesis, there would be L5 radiculopathy. In rheumatologic condition, there would be Faber and Schauber test positive. The investigations and important points to be noted in back pain are there is no need to get the lumbar spine X-ray, only if in certain condition, for example, if there is no improvement after 6 weeks, there is fever and progressive neurologic deficit, there is suspicion of ankylosing spondylitis, or there is history of unexplained weight loss, or corticosteroid use, or trauma history, history of cancer, or alcohol or drug abuse history, because that gives rise to might give rise to osteomyelitis, or repeated fall give rise to trauma or fracture. Radiculopathy means the nerve impingement. If the L4 is impinged, then motor signs would be the loss of dorsiflexion. Sensory would be loss at medial malleolus. Sensory loss at medial malleolus. Knee reflex would be lost, and screening test would be a squat and rise test. To check L5 radiculopathy, the motor signs would be the loss of hallucis extension. Sensory would be the sensory loss at lateral leg and first web space. Reflexes are not very specific in L5 radiculopathy, but screening test is heel walking test. In S1 radiculopathy, motor loss would be the loss of plantar flexion, sensory loss at the lateral foot, ankle reflex would be lost, and screening test would be walk on toes. The femoral stretch test represents L2, L3 and L4 radiculopathy, while SLR positive test shows the L5 and S1 radiculopathy. Here are some specific testing for each of the condition. In degenerative disease, X-ray, MRI, or provocative discography is done. In lumbar stenosis, CT myelogram. In disc herniation or prolapse, X-ray and MRI are diagnostic. In cauda equina syndrome, X-ray, MRI, and post-void residual volume. In neurogenic and vascular claudication, bicycle test is done. In spondylolysis and spondylolisthesis, oblique X-ray and CT. MRI is done if radiculopathy is present, and in ankylosing spondylitis, X-ray of SI joint, X-ray of spine, and MRI of spine are done.